Hello, my name is Ashley White from the University of Arizona Global Campus, doing an illustrated biography of Mariska Hargitay. So today we're going to be going over the biography of Mariska Hargitay, Erikson's psychosocial theory and how it applies to her, along with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Mariska's culture, and Klonninger's tri-dimensional model. So Mariska lost her mother at age 3 from a car accident that she was actually in the back seat of. She only had a few scrapes and bumps and bruises and made it out. She was raised by her father and her stepmother. She is one of the highest paid actresses in the United States. She's opened up her own foundation, and she's the mother of 3 children with a wonderful husband that she met off the TV show Law and Order Special Victims Unit. Erikson's psychosocial theory stages are 8 stages that a person goes through in all the way up from infancy to old age, right? So Mariska lost her mother when she was about 2 or 3 years old. So that puts her in the stages of stage 2 or 3. Um, the stage 2 being autonomy versus shame and doubt, and stage 3 initiative versus guilt. So the autonomy versus shame and doubt really has to do with the willpower, while stage 3 has to do with your purpose. So Mariska says that she was stuck and very mistrustful for a lot of her childhood, according to the IMBD uh, biography online. She didn't really know how to change. But she goes further to say in other interviews is that in her adolescence to young adulthood, she really started to dig in to the whole "I've got to find a way out of this" kind of thing. She she realized in stage 4 has to do with fidelity, and the stage 5 has to do with love. She started to realize that she could actually overcome the stuck that she felt and the mistrust that she felt from early childhood. Since overcoming the shame, guilt, and doubt from her childhood, um, she's currently in the generavity versus stagnation um, area of her life. She does have 3 children that she's raising, and she created the Joyful Heart Foundation that helps men and women with that have endured sexual abuse, child neglect, child abuse, and rape. So she helps those women, which also comes from her show of the Special Victims Unit of Law and Order. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, this is the most interesting. So if we're not meeting our basic requirements, we can't actually self-actualize and become the person we were meant to be. So cognition is how we think. Maslow created this theory um, to kind of give us an idea of how we should be, right? So Mariska may have been stuck in the safety area until her teenage or young adult years occurred. And the reason why I say this is that she could have felt insecure about her mother's death. She could have blamed herself. That comes back to Erikson's theory about being full of guilt, right? She could have fear of losing her father, who's pictured there with her. Um, and as she received the counseling that she needed, she learned that she was accepted and loved and that she belonged, which was the next stage of her. after this, she greatly excelled, right? So I would definitely say that she meets all the criteria for being self-actualized that makes her this strong, independent woman. She's the highest paid actress in the United States. She has the lead role in the Law and Order Special Victims Unit. She's created the Joyful Heart Foundation, and she's found her purpose. And I would definitely say that she meets all of those criteria for being self-actualized. Mariska's culture, there wasn't a lot of stuff on this, but what I have found was that her dad was a bodybuilder and her mother was an actress. Her stepmother was a flight attendant and an actress. She had a pretty much normal childhood. No religion was found. Mariska was loved by her father and her stepmother. So now we come to Mariska Hargitay and Jayne Mansfield, her mother. This is where we dive into the biology of it. So looking at the differences between them, right? She stands up for women's rights, whereas Jayne was considered a sex symbol. She would not take parts that had nudity, and Jayne was very open about her sexuality and willing to do those scenes. Looked up to by many women all over the world. Mariska did, but Jayne used her body and could not get roles unless she played the dumb blonde. Mariska used her brains instead of her body, as Jayne did. And I find this so interesting. So they're so different, but they do have a lot of the same characteristics. So some of the similarities between Mariska and Jayne is they both lost their parents at the age of 3. So Jayne actually lost her father in an accident, and Mariska lost her mother at the age of 3. Both of them were strong actresses. Both knew what they wanted out of life and were willing to achieve that in whatever they needed, right? They were loved, and they're loved by the world from their acting career. So Cloninger's tridimensional model has 4 different or 3 different, let me rephrase that, 3 different things. So the novelty seeking is where they have this dopamine that comes in their body to help them, that they get whenever they're doing, different things. Mariska does her own stunts. She has been hospitalized multiple times for the stunts, and Mariska is willing to stand up for what she believes in. She gets that good feeling by doing what she does. Looking at this model going forward, Cloninger's model would suggest that Mariska would have more amounts of dopamine since she would want to do her own stunts. And this shows in her personality by standing up for people that cannot do it by themselves, no matter the cost. And you see that time and time again on the TV show and in her foundation going forward. Some of my final thoughts is that reading the different articles, one by Cal's Tassir. There's this entrepreneur thing that she knows that even coming from a troubled past, she is more willing to share her struggles with others. She wants to help others overcome, just like she overcame her shame, guilt, and doubts. The other article that I read was by Abin Ani. Shows that even the children that were started out in a harmful situation, right, but raised in a stable home, shows that they can be just fine, which I think is absolutely amazing and wonderful. And Mariska just shows to show that her personality on TV and in her real life is strong and independent, and she is a role model for most women, showing that they can do anything if they are willing to set their minds to it, no matter their past. And she helps others by helping them see their value and seeing their value by her own. She sees that she's no longer stuck, but she is overcome. Thank you so much, and y'all have a great rest of your night.